Trace. Okay, so give me a thumbs up if you could see this. So we're going to go into computer science principles. This is Dr. Davis coming back to you with some computer science skills that you're going to acquire. Let's go into our lesson unit 1, lesson 1.1, working with algorithms. And let's go down to spinning with spirals, activity 1.1.4. And here we are. So thanks for joining. Spinning with spirals. What are the goals? To create an abstract drawing using while loops and iteration, examine the effects of infinite loops and zero iteration conditions, and predict how many times a while loop will iterate. Experiment with effects of operator precedence on code execution, increment, and integer and check conditions. We're going to be using the Python turtle methods. We're going to use the flowcharts for algorithms. Comparing with relational operations, the equal to sign, the not equal. We're going to be working with all of these relational operational signs in the Python language. So first we're going to scroll down to the while loop. Okay, so in the previous activity, you learned about the for loop. The for loop is used to repeat statements or iteration. Another name for it is iteration, right? A specified number of times, or to iterate through a list of values, which you will learn about later in this course. In this activity, you will create spirograph drawings by repeating statements while a condition is met, okay? When you want something to happen, as long as a condition stays true, you use a while loop. All right. So it is important that you all stay with me. Do not be on your phones. So I paused it. Make sure that you're not on your phones. Okay. Put your phones to the side. You see how my phone is to the side? Put it to the side so we're not disturbed.
I got a question.
Yes.
So do you want us to be on this, or do you want us to be on the actual? Or do you want us to be on this?
You want me? You need to be following me.
On like the actual PLTW. Like, and not the video.
Yeah. You're going to be both. So you could have the video up on one side and then your PLTW book on the other.
It won't, but.
Yeah, like this. See how that's on one side and you can still see your meeting? Bring it up. Because you can definitely do it. I'm just showing it from here. So your meeting is.
If you do this, you can see it.
That's your meeting, right? Now, this is your book. Right here. This is your meeting. We're going to keep our meeting small. You don't need it that big. Okay? Or you can just take it and it takes up one half of the screen and this takes up the other half. So we're working like that. Okay? Did you get it, both of them up? Okay, let's see your screen. Did you get both of them?
I just got the screen. The Zoom meeting is small. I can see it.
Yeah, that can stay small, right? Because you can still look up here, but I just want you to. All right. So let's resume. Okay, so the while loop. In the previous activity, you learned about the for loop. The for loop is used to repeat statements. Okay, a specified number of times, and they call that or to iterate. You either repeat or you iterate. Okay, so when you're in a class and you're learning a language, they want you to speak the language. So instead of saying repeat, you want to say iteration. Okay, through a list of values. Okay, so when the condition in a while statement is true, the indented code following it executes. Everybody got that? Every time the indented code segment executes, the condition at the top is evaluated. Well, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Scroll down to number 1. It says, we're using the turtle method. Line 3 says what? Answer equals input. So if I put this on a full screen, it says answer equals input. Okay, you all see that? Answer equals input. Type Y for yes or an N for no. While answer equals Y, then it's going to continue to loop saying, yay, you're in the loop. Do you want to continue in the loop? If you push Y, it's going to say, yay, you're in the loop. Do you want to continue the loop? So let's run it. You can run it on your computer. It says type Y for yes. If I type Y, it says, yay, you're in the loop. Do you want to continue in the loop? If I say Y again, so you all should be doing this, it says, yay, you're in the loop. So that's called a while loop. All right, understand? Okay, so a while loop iterates. It continues to do the same thing. If I say Y again, yay, you're in the loop. Now, if I say no, what happens? It presents, so Y presents a true statement, whereas the N presents a false statement, and it does not, no longer in the loop. It says you're officially out of the loop. Everybody in agreement? Understand that? Pause. How do I get out? All right. So so now what you're going to do is you're going to say here, they gave us something, right? They gave us, something that we could play with. Now, keep what they have there. Highlight this. Can we do this? Let's highlight 3 to 9. Do a Control C. Click to the right of that, hit enter 3 times and do a Control V. So in other words, when you highlight it, we're copying and pasting lines 3 through 9. When you do that, give me a thumbs up if you got it, or you can respond in Zoom, respond with a thumbs up. You can click on your reactions and you can respond with a clap hand or a thumbs up, okay? That lets me know you're with me. All right, now, for starting at line 12, it says type Y for yes or N for no. Okay, now, you're gonna think of something, instead of typing Y for yes, let's make it more challenging for us because we kind of know now how this particular while loop works. Let's say, if we say type Y for yes or N for no, we wanted to print you're going to ask it a question. Yes. Okay.
So after I click run, how do I, like, since it's half screen, how do I put it back to the code? I click run, and now it's like this, but I'm trying to get back to the code.
Click on, let me see. Escape. Let's see. Here it is, right here. So like you were here, you were on full screen, right? And you had your full screen over to the left or something like that. But that's how you, so say this was over to your left, like that, right? And scroll down here, we're at number 1. And you click on that, edit to see your code, the pencil to see your code. Okay, so let's resume. So now, what I had you do again was I had you go up here and I had you highlight lines 3 through 9, do a Control C, hit enter a few times and do a Control V as in Victor. So now we're gonna ask a question this time we're gonna ask a question that we could respond yes or no. I'm gonna ask the question, and you can come up with any question. My question is gonna be, does does SLPS grant you 2 weeks vacation for Christmas? So I'm gonna ask that kind of question, right? Then I'm gonna say, do you want to continue in the loop? All right. So I want you to ask a question that's different from mine that you can respond yes or no to. All right. So I'm gonna run mine. All right. And I'm gonna see what it does. It says type yes. First it says you're in the loop. Do you want to continue? Type yes. You're in the loop. If I say no, you're officially out of the loop. But if I say yes, it goes to, so I had to take myself out of the loop, right? And then respond yes again to go to the second level of questions. So now it says, does SLPS grant you 2 weeks of vacation? If I say yes, I say, does SL, and I say yes. I want to say, if they grant it, how about I say print, yay, I can take a vacation in December. Okay. So we're gonna do it again. I'm gonna run it again and I'm gonna see what it does. Say yes. And first it's gonna respond to lines 5 through 9. And if I say yes again, it responds. If I say no, then it says you're officially out of the loop. But this time, if I say yes, it's gonna say, does SLPS grant you 2 weeks vacation for Christmas? And if I say yes, it keeps me in the loop. So yeah, I don't want to print that. So it still keeps me in the loop, right? If I say yes, it asks again, does SLPS, what if I did this? You know, I'm always want to be creative with something. This time I say if I say yes, it'll keep me in the loop. This time I'm gonna say, where will you go out of the country for vacation? Will you go out of the country for vacation? And if I run it, it gave me an error. It gave me an error because line 16, indentation error. Oh, here. That's wrong. That's what it is. Oh, it still says unexpected indentation. Answer the prints. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just take this out, the second line, and let's run it. Let's run it again. Are you all running it? Does SLPS answer equals input? Do you want to continue in the loop? That should have ran. Answer equals 0. Do you want to continue in the loop? Line 16. Do you want to continue in the loop? Why or yes or no? Indentation error. So are they saying that this shouldn't be here? Maybe that's what they're saying. That indentation error should not be here, but this should be over here like that. Let's do it like this. There we go. Now, yes. Do you want to continue in the loop? Yes. So I always continue the loop a couple times. Then I'll say no. No. It should have switched to does SLPS. But you all get the gist of it because it did work the first time. Run it. Yes. Do you want to continue the loop? No. You're officially out of the loop. Type yes. Does SLPS grant you 2 weeks of vacation? If I say yes. Do you want to continue the loop? No. You're officially out of the loop. So you all get that? You understand? All right. Questions? Questions? Yes.
I think it says you're still on pause.
Yeah, I'm on pause. Okay. I hope I got all of that. That was a good activity. I remember hitting resume. All right, now I'm gonna go back to resume. Zero iteration condition. So you all should be here following along with me. As you saw in the last example, sometimes a loop never starts. This is called a zero iteration. So if a loop never starts, if you type yes and it never starts, that's called a zero iteration condition. Other times you may experience a loop that goes on forever because the condition remains true. You will gain more comfort with loops and learn how to troubleshoot situations in which loops don't seem to behave as you expect. Either your loop never starts or never stops. So read the comments in the code below and then run the program to see if it behaves as you expect. So the comments says, never starts pi. The way that this code is written, it will never examine the comment lines. So your comments here says, for line 13, it says space equals 50. It says the radius of the circle. That's what that line is for. 14 is angle equals 65. We're going to experiment. Then it takes us into a while loop with a right angle, moving it forward. And then with the beginning fill, it's going to fill with the circle. Let's run this. I did not see. Is it doing something and I'm not? So when you ran yours, what happened? Expected error. The contents of a loop with a zero iteration condition will not execute. So this is called a zero iteration, right? And you know why it's called a zero iteration? Because up here it says, this is, he said, as you can see, sometimes a loop never starts. So it never started. This is called a zero iteration condition. Other times you may experience a loop that goes on forever. So this is a perfect example of a zero iteration. Questions? It makes sense, right? Because when I ran it, see what it does? It never starts, right? We see the turtle, which is the arrow, but it never starts. Okay, moving on. It says the contents of a loop with a zero iteration condition will not execute. The code you just examined included a zero iteration condition. Explain this example in your own words. And this is the example in your own words. A zero iteration is presented by the execution would be false due to the start loop equals n. Oh, right here. What if we put, I'm curious. Start loop what? 3? I don't know. Let me play with it and see if it may give me an error. And it didn't. So I'll just put this back at n because I don't want to mess up anything. All right. So it says here, modify the code so that the loop runs when a user enters Y and note your observation. So they're wanting us to enter a Y on line 16. Everybody got that? Take the N out and enter a Y. And let's run it. Smooth. What's happening?
They keep going.
Yes. It just continued to loop. Are you getting it? Continue to loop, right? So now the loop is running forever. So this is no longer a zero iteration. So are we understanding that a zero iteration is when you start the loop with an N, right? All right, great. What if we made this circle a radius, change it from a 3 to a 6, and run it? What do you think could happen? Make it bigger? I could see it more. I'm gonna change I like to be able to see, and so I'm gonna increase my numbers. And it just keeps, so it keeps looping around, and it's filling a circle. You see at the beginning stage, it's little circles and they're filled. You all see that? They're filled. Okay. Notice that they just have color 1. The color is navy. What if I want to change my color to pink? Will it fill it with pink? It's nice. You see how that goes? Now, what if I wanted, okay, so that, we understand that part, right? All right, let's go on down to, do you not wait for this program to end? It never will end. So it never will end. It says the following is another example of an infinite loop. So you are with me? All right. This time they're going to pick the pen up. Line 7, painter.pen up, and it's going to be in the color salmon. Line 10 says line equals 4, start value. Your meeting will end in 10 minutes. Thanks for telling me that. So what I'm going to do right here is we're going to run this just to see what it does. Oh, that's nice. Okay. What if I want to do another while loop? Copy and paste line 12 to 23, do a Control-C, hit enter 3 times, do a Control-V. Make sure you put your while back on the line it should be on. And I'm going to change my colors. And I want you all to do the same. I got to hurry up and do it because, and make sure you keep your quotes. But I have to go to a different area. Painter.go-to has to be on a different, in a different area, okay? And then I'm gonna run it. Look at that. So it's only running, it's still in an infinite loop. It didn't pick up my other circle, but I'm gonna have to stop here because it's going to I'm gonna stop this video because it's gonna cancel me out. So we're gonna stop right there. Stop. Now, how do I, from here, we're gonna end the meeting, but I need to get my recording. So you see how you see my recording there, right? If I go in the meeting, and you're gonna have to I'm gonna end meeting for